The B.S Report is a free-flowing conversation that occasionally touches on mature subjects.
First of all,
This is the B.S Report with Bill Simmons.
it might be cool, I don't know. And if it's not, I don't care.
The B.S Report with Bill Simmons.
Bill Simmons works for ESPN. He's also named the sports guy, and he writes a comical sports column. He must be a popular dude.
The B.S Report.
It's got a real dirty sound, like a rusty steak knife cutting through a well-aged steak.
Now.
Here's Bill Simmons.
Welcome to the B.S Report. A chilly but sunny day here in Southern California. Week 12 of the NFL season, almost in the books. We have a dramatic matchup tonight between Colin Kaepernick and Jason Campbell. Cousin Sal, I mean, how do you put a price on that kind of entertainment?
Kaepernick's official, right? It went from seven to 5 to now 3.5. The Niners are favored. Oh boy,
Wow.
Poor ESPN. What are you going to do?
And then last night, Leftwich Flacco wasn't exactly a masterpiece. I wanted that game to be really entertaining and hard-hitting and all that stuff, but the bottom line was neither guy could complete a pass.
I know you hated that, and I turned the volume up and listened for the hard hits. I try to forget that Flacco and Leftwich were quarterbacks, but I don't know. That game's always 13-10 anyway, isn't it? No matter what.
It is. You can't call it a defensive struggle though when Leftwich is just missing wide open guys. Like, you know, there was that one play, I think it was second to last drive, Wallace is wide open and Leftwich just grounds it to him. Wallace is like bending down like, really? Like,
that was bad. But I think if he catches that at the 15 with 12 seconds left, the game's over. I don't think anyone's running down the field that time. No, I know what you're saying. It wasn't that great. And if you look at the Ravens stats, I don't know how they put up enough offense to win that game. Even on the ground, Ray Rice didn't do anything. But
the Ravens, I think they're 8. Are they 8-3 or 8-2? 9-3? 9-2?
No, the Ravens are everyone's got 10 wins, so 10 games. So it's 7-3, aren't
They're
they?
8-2, yeah. No, they have at least 8 wins.
Oh, 8-2. Right. Sorry.
Man, that's a flimsy 8-2.
Yeah.
I know the Ravens fans always feel like everybody's piling on them and intentionally not believing their team, which is always weird when fan bases feel that way, when people are just trying to look at, like, our only goal is to pick games correctly. We don't have axes to grind. But this is a pretty flimsy 8-2. I mean, they caught a huge break with Roethlisberger just randomly getting hurt the week before that game.
Definitely. And they're going to win the division, and they're probably going to beat out your Patriots for that second bye. I think. But I really feel like even with your best offensive player aside from Brady going out for who knows how long, it's sort of a changing of the guard in the AFC. I think the Pats are the best team again. I think they're better than the Texans, better than the Ravens, and I mean that was probably the best game you guys had in over a year, don't you think?
Yeah. Gronk was finally healthy. They had finally kind of figured out how to involve everybody at the same time. Talib was great. He definitely, just having 2 competent defensive backs for the first time in a couple of years was nice. Luck didn't play a good game, so it was, but it lasted 3 hours, and then all of a sudden, start getting rumblings. Gronk broke his arm.
Yeah.
I have no problem with him being out there in the PAT. The whole thing was stupid. They don't use backups for PATs when you're up 30. Like,
right.
You have one group out there. That's
Peter
it.
King summed it up. That's it. That's your roster, and that's who you put out there, and that's how it is.
Nobody gets hurt on a PAT. I don't even know how it happened.
No, I mean, that's not karma. People talking about karma. That's not the karma for the Patriots running it up, as if they should forego the extra point anyway. What's the alternative? But
the other thing is they didn't really run it up. Like the Colts just couldn't tackle anybody.
Yeah.
Like the Edelman, the last touchdown I think was created by that Edelman play, or the second to last one, where he just ran for 60 yards because nobody could tackle him.
Yeah.
And Luck kept throwing interceptions. So I don't know what you want the Patriots to do.
You have Vereen in there towards the end. Yeah, you still have plays. So.
The Colts were who we thought they were. They have a really bad defense.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what to make of it. I mean, I still feel like Denver, I know their schedule's been a little easy the last few weeks, but it seems like a lot of things are breaking their way, including this Gronkowski injury. Don't you think?
Yeah, I definitely do. And So I guess there's 4 teams to worry about because you don't feel any wild card teams could jump in the AFC, right? Like could be there for that AFC.
I still like this. I like the Steelers still. If Roethlisberger can come back, if you're telling me they're going to be like a 9-7 or a 10-6 wild card, and he's healthy and throwing the ball again, I really like the way they were playing.
I guess possibly. Yeah, you're right. And the Colts will be out of that picture. They'll make the playoffs.
Yeah, all the Colts, Bills, Jets, whoever, that's going to be the sacrificial 6th seed.
But I would say if you're a Patriots fan, at Denver is the game you want to avoid. I would rather go to Houston or Baltimore than Denver, I think.
The only thing that worries me about Houston, I know they didn't play well yesterday, but I also thought it was understandable because they had a 12:30 Thursday p.m. Thanksgiving game looming in Detroit. So they have Jacksonville Sunday, 4 days before, basically, 16-point favorites. They'd have all the makings of the classic, let's try to get through this without anyone getting hurt type game, and they played that way. But the thing that with Houston that I think is a little scary is Andre Johnson finally got going again. And he had some quotes in the papers today about how he's finally healthy. It's the first time he's spoken in 2 years. That was the guy they were missing in that offense, like that explosive receiver. So
he is a beast. And down 14 with 4 minutes left, it seemed like they were not panicking at all, and they could just get him the ball and tie this thing, and then what he did in overtime.
You don't think I feel like that's the toughest place. If they're a 1 seed and you got to go into that dome and beat them. I don't know if for the Patriots it's toughest because the Pats usually play well in a dome, but I would say I think they're a better team than Denver.
Oh, I don't know. Have
you don't think
tried
so?
to breathe the air in Denver? Yeah, it's impossible. Most people die. They can't even do it. You can't even do it.
Manning's been great. He can't even make noodle jokes anymore. He doesn't have the noodle's gone. He's just zipping it.
I know. He throws a pick six, and you forget about it almost instantly. It's like, they're right back on top.
Would you rather have Phillip Rivers or Tony Romo?
Oh, come on. Why is this even a comparison? By the way, I think we're about to see the very worst of Phillip Rivers. I mean, we saw. Did you see him walk off the field yesterday? He got sacked with about 13 seconds left, and they're probably not going to run another play. But
he gave up.
He just walked off the field, and then Turner gives him that look like, all right, okay, all right. Well, the game's over. That's all I want, right? I just want to get through these games, right?
Yeah, it was a total quit job. The biggest quit job of the day was the Eagles and Andy Reid. And I actually had a good week this week picking, but that was one of the games. I just thought. The Eagles have a tendency when you think they quit on the coach to suddenly have a good game. So I was like, maybe that one more. No, it's a total quit job. And I don't know what they do because you can't fire Andy Reid, right? Like his son died a couple months ago. It does seem like it'd just be, all right, thanks, buddy. Thanks for the 13 years. Sorry about your son. We're going to fire you before the season. Like, I can't imagine them doing that.
I don't see them doing that either. I think it'll be one of those things where they'll talk to him and say, hey, listen, this works best if you step down, And,
or he should step down.
Right.
Actually
or he should do it on his own,
But they shouldn't even have to talk to him. Like, the way they played yesterday, he should step down.
I talked to Eagle, and they have quit on him. And now McCoy is injured, so now the blue chippers are just like, boom, but it's just a disaster of a season. So now's a good time for him to get out. But you talk to Eagles fans, and he would be one of the best, the coaches with the best record ever to have been fired, right? I mean, So it's a weird thing. But then, like, you talk to them, like, they're like, oh, come on, are you kidding? You watch the clock management at the end of every game. I'm like, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. He gets lucky. But I think that's, like, something to consider with hiring these college coaches. Like, you want to hire, like, the Oregon coach, like Kelly, and it might work out in the NFL, but these guys don't play close games where they have to – clock management is never a concern. And I say this after Oregon went to overtime with Stanford, but it really, like, one game out of 50, they have to make a big decision in terms of, like, game situations. So
True.
You're really taking a chance on any of it, even the elite coaches in the NCAA.
We went out for drinks Friday, the Grantland people, and we were talking about basically about like some sort of coach trade. And the initial idea was just Rex Ryan and Andy Reid just switching jobs. How fun that would be to have Rex Ryan in Philly. So now I was saying, actually, Andy Reid in San Diego.
Oh.
running the West Coast offense, trying to save Phil Rivers' career. Then you put Norv Turner on the Jets. Really his natural destiny to be the Jets coach. The most sad sack franchise, and just their fans would just go nuts every time he did anything, and it'd just be a perfect match. And then Rex and Philly doing Rex Ryan things. Like, everybody wins. Just do that now. Just do that for this week. Just roulette. Switch to 3.
They should do that. They should do a job switch. I'm trying to think of another one.
Those are the best 3.
Jason Garrett and
you
Morehead State. Can we do that?
The Cowboys. The Cowboys and Jets are in the same situations with their fan bases. The fan bases are in the hospital, and they want the doctors to pull the plug, but the doctor's like, I can't. There's still a pulse. Like, we can't do it.
It's something about watching your team when you know they're bad, but you're still getting mad that they're losing. Like, why am I getting so upset? This is not a Super Bowl team. This is not a playoff team. So what if we win? But yet
the playoffs are still a possibility. It's the same thing for the Jets. The Jets could beat the Pats this week, and suddenly they're like a game behind. What are they? A game and a half behind Indianapolis?
Yeah, they're right there. But that's not going to happen.
And the Bills fans are kind of lingering. Hey, we have something really important to discuss.
What is it?
So the home teams. I think we're 19, 11, and 2 after 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
The home teams right now, after 12 weeks, are 64, 92, and 3.
Wow.
By my calculations, they're 28 games under 500. And if you throw out the first 2 weeks, by my calculations, the home teams against the spread are 45, 81, and 1.
Wow.
So if you'd just taken the road teams every game since week 2, you'd be 36 games over 500.
Mm-hmm.
How is that possible?
I don't know how it's possible, and I know the home underdogs put up an offer yesterday. I think they were 0-4, and that's the one that you at least get scared of when you go to fill out your picks every week, right? Like,
no, didn't Pittsburgh covered?
Oh yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
I mean, it was a cheap cover, but they covered.
Actually, that was 3 by kickoff, but yeah, it was kind of a push. But yeah, I know, I don't get it. And like you and I, like we had the same reasoning with going back to Houston and Jacksonville. Like it seems like the 15-point favorites struggle to win. It's not even like a backdoor cover. Like we write in our analysis every week. Like, yeah, sure, I think Houston's at least 2 touchdowns better than Jacksonville, but maybe there's a backdoor cover. Maybe they're not playing, up to their potential. They have Thanksgiving looming and everything, but they're struggling to win the game. I don't think I've seen that before. Same with Arizona, Atlanta, all these teams. It's not even a case of them being up 7 when they should be up 14.
If you took the Seahawks, because the Seahawks went 5-0 against the spread at home during that stretch. So if you remove the Seahawks, who have the best home field advantage of anyone from the last 10 weeks, the home teams are 40, 81, and 1.
Wow.
It's like 2 out of every 3 have covered, except for the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Like at that point, it's not even I don't even think it's a trend anymore. I mean, it's just, and I don't know what you do if you're Vegas, because, or maybe you just throw out maybe you don't even factor in the home lines like you did. Maybe it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
I don't know. I know Vegas got clobbered in those late afternoon games. All those favorites covered: New Orleans, Denver, and New England.
True.
So I don't know.
2 of the 3 were home.
Yeah, 2 of the 3 were home.
But I think the Cowboys-Browns game is a perfect example of just maybe we should not be factoring in home field in this. It's 8 points. Cowboys in a no-win situation. A team they should be beating. And it went exactly the way you would have thought it would go if you were a Cowboys fan thinking like, what's my worst case scenario for this game? And it was the same thing for Cardinals, Falcons, and Texans, Jags. And,
but the other thing is maybe these aren't really home field advantages anyway. I mean, what crowd are you afraid of out of all those teams you just mentioned? Certainly not the Dallas crowd. I got word that there were a good number of Browns fans at that game, and it sure sounded like it. I don't know
really
why the Browns fans are even showing up for home games, let alone traveling to Dallas. But, so there are only a few real, true home advantages anymore, I think.
So maybe Seattle. Yeah. I think New Orleans can get going. Denver because of the altitude, and they have good fans.
You trick yourself into thinking like St. Louis over the Jets, and then all right, that's 3.5. Like, oh yeah, Jets stink, and St. Louis is home. They're good at home. All of a sudden it's in our head that St. Louis is good at home, and then next thing you know, you're like, oh boy, I have St. Louis minus 3.5 over the Jets.
I feel like an idiot.
Yeah, what am I doing here? So.
I will say that I think the Rams would have won that game if that kick return touchdown didn't get called back on the penalty that they couldn't even really find in the
That was
replay.
big. It definitely would have been close.
But it was just once that happened, you're like, all right, well they're not going to win.
Yeah.
But the only pick that I really felt horrible about was backing the Eagles. That was one of those. The first touchdown, the guy was open by 15 yards. We're like, oh, I guess the Eagles aren't going to show up in this game.
Yeah.
The only other thing we should mention about yesterday was an amazing down the stretch, like last hour, like 3 overtime games, 2 other games went right down to the wire. The Packers had one of the great random stupid covers of the last couple of years with you never see the situation actually pulled off where the team, they were up 1, they were giving 3.
Mm-hmm.
The Lions go for it on 4th and 10 from like their own 20. They don't get it. There's just enough time for the Packers to run 3 plays, get stopped, and then have that 4th down with 20 seconds left scenario. And a lot of times the teams won't even kick the field goal.
Right, they'll just go for it, yeah.
They kick the field goal, they make it. It was just glorious.
And
I was so happy.
Crosby had missed everything he had touched leading up to that, yeah.
And then Tampa with an amazing cover. An amazing cover.
They're the wild card team you maybe have to look out for.
Oh, yeah. They played like crap in that game, and they still won. But Ron Rivera, yet again, at midfield, 4th and 1, decides to punt because, you have a chance to go 3 and 7. You got to be conservative. and they punt. Bucks come down, get the touchdown with 12 seconds left, get the 2-point win in OT. I wrote this on Friday. I believe in this Bucks team.
I do too.
I think they're good.
I believe that Cam Newton just can't have a fourth quarter comeback win, or actually it wouldn't be a fourth quarter comeback because they were ahead the whole time. I don't think he can win a game in the fourth quarter or overtime. I mean, now it's 2 years. I don't know how many he's had, but it's either 1, 0, or in the negatives. I don't see any. But yeah, Tampa's good. Tampa's good, and maybe that's the problem with Phillip Rivers going back to San Diego. You took his best weapon off the field 2 years in a row. Darren Sproles, or maybe that was 3 years ago. Yeah. And then Vincent Jackson. So that's hard to adjust. And now we're seeing how good. Yeah, now Gates is always hurt anyway. But now we're seeing how valuable Vincent Jackson is to any offense.
And Ryan Matthews, I don't want to say he's a bust, but definitely not what they were expecting. You traded up, thought you were getting they basically thought they were getting what Tampa ended up getting with Doug Martin.
Hard to get excited for him. Game time decision every game, and
speaking of fantasy, do you want to talk about this now?
Yeah, well, let's discuss this here. So let me set the stage here. So 3 weeks ago, only 3 weeks ago on this podcast, 3 Mondays ago. Well, let me play the call. You're 1-5. You're struggling this year in fantasy, and people try to make you trades. Let me play the tape because I have the podcast here. All right, here it is. It's me and you. Hey, Bill, so a lot of people in our league are saying they're trying to trade you and you won't respond. I'm not trading with anyone. I'm 1-5 and I don't have a chance. The last place team should not be allowed to change the outcome of the league. Yeah, but I know you're in last, but you still have a chance at the playoffs if you make a run. I'm in last place. Last place shouldn't figure into the results. I know, but don't you feel like you're figuring into the results if you keep playing a crappy lineup against teams who are battling for the playoffs at the end? I said I'm not trading. And if you don't shut your damn mouth about this subject, I'll fire you from this podcast. I'm not related to you, remember? I don't need to keep you employed. So shut your trap. Let's get back to talking about road rules. That was it.
That's what happened.
Okay, so that's what happened.
I remember that.
And then midweek, Wednesday, you make a trade with Hench. You trade him Matt Schaub for Des Bryant, which is fair on its face, I think. But just the fact that you were so against trading, and now you're trading, the league is in an uproar, especially the guy who then had to play Matt Schaub, who you traded.
All right, so a couple more facts.
Yeah.
I was 2-7. I was not eliminated from the playoffs yet.
Okay.
I still have a chance to catch you if I won the last 4.
Right.
On top of that, I was 2-8.
3-8 now, yeah.
Yeah, I was 2-8. So I had to, if I won my last 3, I had a chance to make the playoffs.
Right.
Hench was 4-5,
mm-hmm.
or he was 4-6, something like that. He was also not in the playoff picture.
He was outside looking in, right?
Outside looking in. I had Matt Schaub, Joe Flacco, and Eli Manning.
Mm-hmm.
I really needed another receiver. And I don't know. I just thought, like, what the hell? Why not go for it? But then there's this other factor. The guy who finishes in last place in our league has to pay for the entire pizza dinner.
Right.
After the season, which
exactly.
is like, it's like a $250?
Oh yeah, and we go with a lot of a-holes. I mean, they're going to the bathroom and pouring pitchers of beer in the toilet, so the guy.
Yeah. It's like a $300 thing. I don't want to finish last. I had like a 1-game lead in last place, so I was like, well, this might end up helping me win.
Right.
2 extra weeks. But the Hench ended up getting a 66-point day from Matt Schaub. And if that doesn't tell you about my fantasy season, I don't know what does.
And you said Eli in the last 4 weeks. Eli plus who'd you start yesterday? Flacco. In 4 weeks.
I started. I had the choice of trading Flacco or Schaub, and I traded Schaub.
I don't think anyone has a problem with you making the trade. It's just your hard stance against making trades at 105, 1-5. You know, when you could have been in last, you could have gone 8-5 at 1-5. You know.
Well, here's where you're gonna get mad because if Hench was 7-2, I would not have made the trade.
I don't like this. Well, what does that mean? Why?
Well, because then I feel like. I don't feel like one of the last place teams should be trading with one of the real contenders. Like to me, these were like two also ran losers just trying to keep each other interested. You know, with a very fair trade.
You're lucky the rest of the world doesn't think of like this. Otherwise, you would never get the leaks of the league running around for you. You know, on the Patriots. No one would ever trade with the Patriots. But as long as the trade is fair, I think it's fine.
I'm okay with it. I don't think it would have been fair if, the trade being fair is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
It was a totally fair trade, and Des Bryant had 21 points. The irony, though, is if I hadn't made the trade, I would have started either Justin Blackmon or Cecil Shorts, both of who had like 200 yards each, and then kept Schaub. I would have ended up having it's just typical. Well,
now because of you, we're now moving the trade deadline up till 10 minutes after the draft. So that's it. That's when the trade deadline is from now on.
Listen, the other thing is, if this made Tony Barbieri unhappy in any way, then it's a huge win for me.
He was very upset.
Yeah, I'm glad he was. I'm glad. All right, so let's hit the week. Oh, this is exciting. How are we at Thanksgiving already?
This is good. Now, you okay with the Thursday games? I know normally you don't like Thursday games. You can give the NFL a pass this week?
I feel bad for the Texans.
The Texans?
I mean, the Texans play an overtime game on Sunday.
Yeah.
And then they're playing at Detroit at 12:30 a.m. on Thursday. That is brutal.
That is bad.
Here's a question. Why not have one of the 4 bye week teams play that 12:30 Thursday game? Is that just too much common sense?
Someone asked me that too. It doesn't make sense. And the same thing with just any Thursday. Why couldn't a bye week team play any Thursday?
But especially Thanksgiving. Especially those you have 2 Thursday afternoon games basically.
Yeah.
And you have 4 teams who just had a bye week.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
It's inane.
It seems easy enough.
I just don't understand.
I know they think they're doing them a favor by making, because Houston and Dallas played at early in the day, so they get the earliest game 3 days
Houston
later.
was still playing it. They were still playing at 5 o'clock East Coast time.
Same with the
yesterday.
Cowboys at an overtime. Yeah. All right. Well, okay. Let me just go over our weeks here. I'm 7-3-1 after 11 weeks, and we picked the lines. And there are 2 games without lines this week. So.
Oh, what are those 2 games?
Pittsburgh at Cleveland, Leftwich might be out. And Minnesota, Chicago, they have no idea who's going to be quarterback for the Bears by then.
How bad do you think Charlie Batch is that they couldn't bring him in?
I don't know. One time they showed him, he had like 1980s headphones on. So I don't know what it is.
He's wearing a members-only jacket.
It wasn't the cool
trying to come in.
Yeah.
Do you really you go home from that game that night, and your wife's like, "So how'd it go?"
Yeah.
Byron seemed like he was pretty hurt. Yeah, he was really hurt. He couldn't really throw. Why didn't they put you in? I don't know.
What has to happen?
I just work here.
He was only 30 yards off with his passes. If it was 45, they would have made a change.
He had that one play when he scrambled, when he rolled out, and he had that guy wide open, like 50 yards down the field. He heaved it, and it just kind of rolled to the guy. And Collinsworth's like, I'll tell you, Brian Leftwich might be hurt. So, yeah, I think he is. That pass went 30 yards.
Well, how did he even get hurt? They show him running in on a touchdown, and I don't know, he's 7 yards past the end zone, and he dives some kind of stupid celebration, and he's holding his ribs for the rest of the game.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much confidence do you have in Joe Flacco right now?
Well, I think if that shows anything, that game, that he doesn't need to do a lot to win. Like, some of these quarterbacks get a little lucky. And I hate to bring Tony Romo into it, but when he throws 5 interceptions like Matt Ryan, we lose by hundreds of points. It's just not even a chip. But he's got that benefit right there, Flacco.
Atlanta winning that game with the 5 interceptions was probably the biggest outrage of the season. Arizona should be just ashamed.
Yeah.
And I agree. Bill Barnwell wrote today about how dumb it was to coming off a bye week to bench John Skelton after 7 passes.
Right. And Lindley wasn't even in the first team. That doesn't make no sense.
Anyway,
all right. Houston at Detroit.
Oh yeah. I don't think Detroit's good.
No.
I have the Texans by 3.5.
Okay, you get this one. I said 2, and it's 3.
I almost said 3.
But this is a tough one. This might be the one Detroit pulls out at home.
You watch the Lions, and they just don't look right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about that coach.
Yeah, it's funny. We look at the Lions of old, and most Lion teams recently were 2-8 going into this Thanksgiving game. This one's only 4-6, and you think of it, it's so much better than the ones.
Yeah, we talked about this last week on the podcast. There's been some sort of optical illusion with the Lions, where everybody just forgets that this has been one of the most incompetent teams the last 20 years.
Yeah, and I don't get it either. Mikel LaShore is good, and I like the Lions here.
I kind of like them too. I think that's a brutal spot for Houston. Although I will say this, I think Dungy said this yesterday talking about Brady and the short week, and it is true. Like when you have a really good quarterback who can adjust on the fly on these short week Thursday games, it's a huge advantage. Like
that helps.
Eli, remember that Eli Carolina game, and it was like, oh, the Giants are so banged up. This is before Eli died.
Right.
And Eli was just great in that game because these guys you can bring more stuff to the table. You don't have to worry about the short week and we didn't blah, blah, blah. So I wonder, I don't know if Matt Schaub's on that level.
Well, I was just going to say, with that reasoning, let's look at the 6 teams and who's the worst quarterback out of those 6, and I'm afraid what your answer is going to be. So maybe we should just move on.
Yeah, I mean, that Matt Schaub, I don't think is like that. And then next game, Cowboys-Redskins. Romo is certainly not on that caliber. And Griffin's a rookie.
Like I said, we should move on. But I did pick this one exactly. What'd you think?
I had the Cowboys by 6.5.
Oh, wow. All right. I said 3.5, and it is 3.5. And let me tell you, I know you don't think it's enough, but that's plenty. That's plenty if you're thinking of the Redskins.
You know what? It's a bad job by me. I just thought they were going to penalize the Redskins because of the 3 days rest on the road, the rookie quarterback, whole thing. But
all you had to do was watch the first half of that Cowboys game and see what they allowed Brandon Weeden to do. I mean, how unimaginative could Rob Ryan be sending 3 every time? This guy has 7-8 seconds in the pocket. You should want to beat the Browns. Didn't they fire him? I don't know what kind of game plan he put together, but
the announcer mentioned that. He was like, hey, Rob Ryan, he's really fired up about this one. They passed him over for the head coaching job, and I know he was upset about that. I was like, yeah, everybody passes Rob Ryan over for a coaching job. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
What has he done to earn a coaching job? These mediocre defenses.
I haven't seen anything. I know. And, I think the time has come. Tony Romo actually hates the Cowboys offense as much as me and the rest of the fans here. He's throwing a fit out there. 7 sacks against the Browns. Are you kidding me? But take the 3.5 here and get your kids as many iPads and iTouches as they want for Christmas. This is a gift.
Griffin was spectacular yesterday.
Yeah, that's the other thing. 14 for 15, 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
How are they going to contain him? All right. New England at the Jets.
Yeah.
Rematch of the great Week 6 overtime throw at 29-26, New England.
I think Gronk's worth a point. I would have had Pats by 4, but I think it's Pats by 3.
All right, I got this. Wow, I got this exactly. Patriots by 6. You went opposite of the other game, what you should have done.
Patriots by 6?
Yeah.
I don't agree with that at all.
What were they when they were home against the Jets? It couldn't have been more than 8 or 9, right?
Yeah. The Jets looked pretty good yesterday.
I'm telling you, Pats are still the best team in the AFC.
I'm with you. I agree. I just think the Gronk thing is a big deal.
Can he come out Cowboy Bob Orton style with a forearm?
It would be
pass?
the best. It would be great. And try to catch everything one-handed. I would love it.
Slams all the linebackers to a victory, a Super Bowl victory, and just wears it for the next 3 years.
I would love it.
I think that's it. All right, now we're up to Sunday, and I think this early slate is as bad as I've seen since we've done this. Buffalo at Indy.
That's a really strong statement. I guess, we have the Texans. We only have Texans and Pats playing. Who's that? No bye weeks, right?
No bye weeks. This is the first week without a bye. They started week 4. But
so
Green Bay Giants are a night game, and you have 3 decent Thursday games. Well, you'll see. There's really nothing stands out here.
So Bills at Colts?
Yeah.
I have Colts by 3.5.
I did what you did here with the other games. I said 6, and you're right. It's 3. Why is that so low?
Because I think home field, they're just throwing it out.
Oh, man.
They threw it out with Cowboys-Redskins, too.
I know, but that's a Thursday thing. That's weird. I guess Buffalo has the extra 3 days because they played the previous Thursday. I don't know. I think that's low. All right, Pittsburgh or Cleveland. As I said, there's no line.
No, I would have had Steelers by 2.5.
Yeah, I said by 3. So leave that. Oakland at Cincinnati.
The Browns are not bad. Every week they are right in every game and then do something stupid.
Yeah.
Or just kind of blow what should have been a potential win, or something dumb will happen.
They look good to me. They're better than the Cowboys, I thought. I think Trent Richardson's running for 7 yards a clip on first down.
I swear, I think I've picked the Browns every week for 7 straight weeks.
Yeah.
What's the next one?
Oakland at Cincy.
I think I'm done picking Oakland.
130. So I feel like the Saints passed the bad defense torch to the Raiders on their way to Oakland yesterday.
Yeah.
135 points in 3 games or something.
Oh, God. This is at least over a touchdown. I'm going to say Bengals by 7.5.
You hit it exactly, my friend. Started at 6, which is what I had it at, but it is 7.5. So
it should be. The Bengals might not be bad. They're kind of lingering as a 6 seed. I would say you might even make them the favorite.
I don't know if you can get them to 10-6 though.
Aren't they 5-5?
5-5. That you can't get tripped up more than once the rest of the way. That's tough. I guess they'll win this week. The other one that doesn't have a spread, Minnesota at Chicago.
Oh yeah.
I think it was the beginning end of the Vikings, regardless who's.
I would have said Bears by 6, but what do I know?
That's exactly what I said. So it wouldn't matter. Tennessee at Jacksonville.
Oh, I hated this one.
They're really stupid teams, both of them. Stupid.
And it's like going back to the home field advantage thing from before. I would almost say it's a disadvantage for the Jaguars to be home. I actually factored that into my pick. I have Jags by 1.
All right. Well, I actually hit it exactly after all this. I said Tennessee by 3. That's what it is.
Oh boy.
Jags are still 1-9. You can't make them home.
It's 4 points off on that.
Doesn't matter where they're playing. Oh, I have a good one. That was off 6 coming up.
Jesus.
Atlanta at Tampa Bay. Actually, this is a decent game in the early. Going.
Oh, I like the Bucks. I'm picking the Bucks. I might go wager on the Bucks during this podcast.
Wow. All right.
I have the Falcons by 2.5.
All right. I had Falcons by 2. It's a pick'em.
Whoa!
Vegas is wise to this charade that Atlanta puts forth every week.
Charade? What are you, Damashek?
That's right.
Charade.
Sherrod Hawkins. He's in my lineup. He's on my bench.
Oh God, I love the Bucks. I hope the Bucks don't become too obvious, though.
They haven't played yet this year, have they? These two? I don't think they have. No.
So they have 2 games left against each other?
Play at the end of the year, yeah. I think they play the last game of the year. All right. Seattle at Miami. I was off by 5.5 points. I'm giving you this by saying this, but I was off by 5.5 points.
I had Seattle by 2.5.
Wow, that's exactly what it is. I thought Miami by 3.
Seattle's good.
6-4, Miami 4-6. Miami on a little more rest.
Dolphins have looked really bad last couple weeks.
Sorry.
Dolphins have played 2 really bad games.
They have. I guess you don't know what to make out of Tannehill or this offense in general. Just struggled.
I think they've figured out the QB. The league whatever he's doing, the league has figured it out.
I think though, Miami maybe not a great home team, but you have to give Seattle, take points off for them being on the road automatically, don't you?
You should. But I just think they're better.
All right. Denver at KC.
Had trouble with this one too. I didn't know whether to veer into double digits or not. I had Broncos by 9.5.
Ah, jerk. 9.5. I said 9 and it's 10.5. So you're gonna get.
Oh, it is double digits.
Yeah.
All right. So who are we doing at 3-team?
Through the early games, you're 5-4. 3-team teaser. You kidding? What did you? Were you about to say that?
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Who
do we throw the Broncos with?
Denver and Cincinnati should win, right?
No, I can't put Andy Dalton in a 3-team tease.
Wow.
That violates a lot of my rules.
No, you're not putting him in. You're putting against Carson Palmer.
I don't care. I don't trust him.
All right, out of those games, what's worth watching? That's the early slate. Atlanta at Tampa.
Oh, Falcons Bucks is great.
That's it. Okay,
that's a great game.
All right, but there's not one other one.
I love that game.
All right. Late afternoon, Baltimore at San Diego.
Yeah, I didn't want to tell you this, but Josh Freeman and I have been talking again.
What?
Yeah. Remember when Katy Perry and John Mayer broke up and then they got back together?
Is that right?
We've been IMing, G-chatting.
Wow, we're gonna have to check.
A little bit.
Like Justin Selena, we're gonna have to check up on you. I don't think you're done just yet.
He knows I'm with Russell Wilson, but Russell knows that Josh and I have just a lot of history.
Okay. And he'll forgive you for sleeping with that director?
Yeah, maybe.
Our Pat? All right.
Yeah.
All right, Baltimore at San Diego. Maybe make a call for me next week. Baltimore at San Diego.
Oh, God. The Ravens, yet again. I mean, they catch the Chargers just perfect week. Right after their season has just been shot to hell.
Mm-hmm.
Ravens by 2.5.
I said 2, and it's only 1. I get that one. Boy, I don't see San Diego closing out another decent team for a long time now.
God, you know what I really hate about that game is I could see myself picking the San Diego.
The Chargers. I know.
Yeah. I'm going to stare at that game for 6 days, and then on day 7, talk myself into them.
Well, especially if they do that coach switch thing with Andy Reid. Then you're all
That would be good. That would be good.
San Fran at New Orleans. This is a good one.
I have San Fran favor. Oh, no, wait a second. Are we getting Alex Smith in this game?
Let me see. I looked this line up an hour ago, so did that...
I got Saints. I'm going to say Saints by 1.5 because I don't trust the QB thing for the Niners.
Oh, all right. Well, they have it, and if you want it right now, you could get San Fran at 2.5. I said 3, so I get that one.
Oh, I had originally had San Fran at 1.5, but I didn't know if the Alex Smith thing. You would have beat me anyway.
You know, that's weird. I like the Saints there.
I almost feel like that should be a no line. Let's see what happens with Alex Smith.
That out. That should be a no line. I won't give.
Yeah, that's a no liner.
All right, 1, 2, 3. So all right, we're tied with 3 left. And
that's good. That's the way it should be.
I did hit this one exactly.
Wait, quick question.
Go ahead.
You believe in the Saints or no?
Yeah, I think I do. I think they score enough to win, and they're playing defense. They have 1 or 2 big defensive plays every game. It's sort of stupid that they're stepping up for Joe Vitt now the way they are. But
who'd they beat last week?
They beat the Falcons last week, right?
Oh yeah, but the Falcons should have won that game though.
I don't know. They were with them the whole time. Who'd they play the week before?
Freaking Harry Douglas doesn't get in the end zone. You have 4 chances from the 1-yard line.
They killed Philly the week before, which is a non-fact.
Yeah, so they have some fraudulent wins there. Philly at Oakland.
I guess. But going to Oakland.
The Niners are a different animal. I mean, there's like such a physical team. I'd be impressed if they beat the Niners.
Isn't there a little payback factor from the playoffs too?
Totally.
Yeah.
I'd be impressed if they beat the Niners because I just don't think the Saints are physical enough.
I would too,
we'll
but they're playing every game like they have to win it.
Yeah.
St. Louis at Arizona. Ugh.
God. Cards by 3.
I said 2, and it is 2.
Oh.
Well, Lindley at home. What are you going to do?
The Rams looked terrible last week.
This is actually the beginning of when the Cardinals fell apart, right? Week 5, when that was a Thursday night game when St. Louis beat them 17-3.
Yeah, they kind of dominated them on both sides of the ball.
Yeah. All right, Green Bay at the Giants. Big Sunday night game. That'll be fun.
I got to be honest. I don't know what Lindley's first name is. What's his first name?
It's Lindsey Lindley.
Is it just Lindley? Does he have a first name?
He's going by Lindley. He doesn't want people to know. Doesn't want people to know his first name yet.
It might be the first quarterback. I feel like I follow the league pretty diligently.
Yeah.
I literally can't remember his name.
Ryan
Lindley.
Lindley.
Okay. Yeah, that's a tough name.
Um,
Giants, Packers. Packers at the Giants. I have the Giants favored by 2.5 points.
Oh, you got it. Wow, it's coming down to the last one. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I picked this exactly, so you can only tie me.
I'm going to get it too, though. It's pretty easy.
All right. Carolina at Philadelphia.
Yeah. Eagles by 3.
If you would have said Eagles by 2.5, you would have won the week. And that's what it is.
So you won?
I got it exactly, yeah.
You picked Eagles by 2.5?
Yeah. I'm not taking these Lindley and these guys. They shouldn't give more than 3 or more at home. But who's it, Foles?
I can't believe, you get 3 on a neutral field.
Yeah.
So Vegas is saying the Panthers are a half point better than the Eagles.
They have the better quarterback. I guess they're 2-8. Philly's 3-7. Yeah, I don't know. I swear my kids, I said 2.5.
I believe you. I'm kind of reeling. I thought that was a guaranteed hit for me.
Yeah.
So how many games do we have that are 3 points or less? 1, 2. Man, there's a lot of low lines this week.
There's 10 and probably 11 when Pittsburgh-Cleveland comes on.
And we only have 2 lines above a touchdown.
Yeah.
Bengals, Raiders, and Broncos, Chiefs.
If you're still alive in a suicide pool, it's a tough week. You probably took Cincy at some point, or Denver.
Last thing, Homeland, the sex scene last night.
Was that what you were referring to in your tweet, that one?
No, I was referring to the terrible scene. And by the way, this will be the last thing, and then we're going to hang up. So if you haven't seen Homeland yet, just stop listening.
Yeah.
No, when the daughter went to see the lady whose mom died, that was really one of the worst scenes, not only in the show's history, but maybe in television history.
Yeah. Spaghetti. I know.
Here's the thing. I like the daughter. She's cute, but don't put. It's almost like a quarterback. You got to put her in positions to win.
Interesting.
You can't spread the receivers out and go basically 5 wide receivers and just have her gunning it in a scene like that, because she's gonna just get hit. She's gonna throw a pick.
Right.
You got to be careful. Just ball control. You got to do Joe Flacco with the daughter.
I'm hoping she gets a concussion and has to sit out a few episodes.
I think that scene gave her a concussion.
It doesn't make sense either. He's like, yeah, ask your mom. You could stay if you want. Just ask your mom. Can you drive me to some weird neighborhood? Yeah, sure. I have nothing to do. I have nothing to do ever. I'll take you wherever you want to go.
Hey, Mike. It's your old 16-year-old female friend. It's going to hang out and sleep over. This isn't weird at all.
Yeah.
Hey, I was just making dinner.
Right. You know she hated him when he was fornicating with the mother. Yeah. I don't get it. And that sex scene, I don't know if you saw the SNL parody. I'm not a huge SNL fan, but it ruined it for me, because that's exactly what that was. Like Saul.
Mandy Patinkin. Saul, like, we still have to give her a chance.
She knows what she's doing. You can barely hear her in front of the moans and groans. Oh,
can I ask a question about Mike?
Yeah, you like him.
Handsome guy, right?
Yeah.
Good job. He's in Washington. Brody's been back for like a year. Like, he's not dating at this point?
He could probably move on. He should have a girl.
Not dating? There wasn't a girl? It wasn't some little hot Pentagon 24-year-old, like, executive assistant of some general who's over? They're having a glass of wine?
The only thing I'm thinking is, and I think we touched on this last week, is we need him to stay single because I think it's the only chance we have of seeing her nude again.
Oh, Mrs. Brody.
Mrs. Brody, yeah.
They're going to go through this whole season without Mrs. Brody doing anything.
Can't do it.
It feels like.
They can't do it.
It's now, the producers are clearly made a bet with somebody. They got like minus 500 odds that she was going to keep her clothes on all season.
Right. The great thing is the big terrorist is in Virginia.
Abu Nazir?
He made a stop in Virginia. This is where I'm going to make my home for now.
He shaved his beard. It's totally conceivable.
No one will find it, yeah.
The helicopter, nobody notices helicopters.
Yeah, I know.
I like it. It's gone kind of crazy like 24 did, but the sex scene in the hotel.
In the motel, yeah.
In the motel.
Yeah.
I would nominate maybe top 5 worst scenes you could watch, like if your in-laws were staying over for the weekend. Because my in-laws were here last weekend, and we watched Homeland, and we were 1 week away from just what would have been an apocalypse.
Yeah.
I would have melted.
And then Sal taking crap for questioning her afterwards. Like, what was that about? I'm just doing my job. Come on. What, you thought that was real?
It's the best.
It was really good.
So how do we think this shakes out?
We will make a 3-team teaser and lose. Oh, you mean Homeland?
Well, we could throw in something from Homeland in the tease.
Yeah, let's throw it in. Let's throw in the kid as a Wizards fan.
Abu Nazir pulling off the terrorist attack minus 300 with the Broncos.
I
don't know.
That. I just like him. He should change his. Maybe he switches to he becomes brunette halfway through. I don't know. I mean, he's going to have to double cross everyone again, I think.
I think they should add more scenes with Mike and the 16-year-old daughter.
You love it.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, have you seen this week's Real Road Rules Challenge yet? I haven't. Put it on.
Let's go to Gettysburg. Yeah.
What possible connection could those two have?
I don't know. No, she would hate him. That did bug me.
She would absolutely hate his guts.
Yeah.
That's the guy who's banging my mom.
Right.
While my dad's in Iraq and he's either alive or dead.
Right.
And here's his buddy who's now stepped in. I hate this guy. I mean, teenage girls hate their own parents.
Right.
They're definitely going to hate this guy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. It's all working out for her. She doesn't have to pay for the hit and run. It's fine.
You know, my son spent all yesterday throwing up, which I thought was interesting because he wears a Gronkowski jersey on Sundays.
Oh,
I don't know
wow.
if there's any parallels there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I had something with my son, too, before I go, and I wrote about this in the run and shoot, on Grantland's run and shoot today.
Yeah.
My gambling day was so bad, and I had the Steelers plus 3.5. My son had a really wiggly tooth, my 7-year-old, and I was actually thinking, playing the role of the tooth fairy, I'm like, maybe he could hold out for another week. Let's just see if the Steelers cover here. I don't know if I can cough up to $4 just yet. It's really gotten bad.
So you hit on the Steelers.
I got the Steelers. Luckily, I got it at 3.5 and went down to 3. So,
all right.
That's not all I hit on. Let me tell you, Grantland, 2-1 with my best bets against the spread. And then the props, A.J. Green to score a touchdown, New England over 31 points, Raiders, Saints score in the first 5.5 minutes. I had the Ravens Steelers to score between 22 and 28 points, 9-1 odds. Where am I getting this from, Simmons?
It's amazing.
I'll have it up.
How do you do it?
Wednesday morning again. And Jimmy Kimmel Live, Eric Stone Street from Modern Family, L.A. Reid from X Factor later in the week, Tim Allen and Manny Pacquiao.
And you were having company for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, my mother and father have decided to end the Cold War for the last 15 years.
Oh!
Breaking bread, and we'll see how that goes.
Wow, first Abu Nazir, and now the Cold War is over.
What is going on?
Oh, my God.
I give it to halftime of the night game before no one's talking again.
Oh, that'd be great. Can you tweet updates?
Yeah, I might have to.
So your wife is making this huge Thanksgiving feast. Fortunately, you have some family members who will chip in, but you're going to be obsessed with the 3 football games and not helping out at all. That's my prediction.
Absolutely. That's a lock, guaranteed lock. The only lock of the week.
All right. Cousin Sal, happy holidays, my friend.
Really, really good job by you, Billy.
Good job by you, too.
I'll talk to you later.
See ya.
So I get to sign off.
Whoa.
Thank you for downloading the B.S Report with Bill Simmons.
Too much fun.
Check out more podcasts at the iTunes Music Store or at Pod Center at ESPNradio.com.
Peace out.